Hi, my name is Bob Helmbrecht. I'm a realtor and one half of the husband and wife team of JoAnn and Bob with my wife JoAnn Maddalena, and we're with Coldwell Banker in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Today I want to talk about marketing and how you know whether your house is being marketed effectively. Now obviously, to be effective, the marketing has to put your house in front of buyers who are looking for houses. But how do you know where buyers are looking today? Well, every year the National Association of Realtors does a huge survey of home buyers and home sellers. And one of the items they always include in that survey is where did the buyer actually find the home that they ended up purchasing. Now there are a couple sources that used to be popular and now really are under 1% of the responses. Those include print newspaper advertising for houses and the little home magazines. I'm probably dating myself a little bit here, but back when I started in 2003, I think we actually did get a call or two on print newspaper ads, and I can still remember people coming to the open houses, with their little section of the Courier News or the Star Ledger in their hand, that they had circled the ones they wanted to go to. But it has been really ages since we've seen anyone with a newspaper ad for a house, and I don't think I ever saw anyone actually looking at a home magazine. And the first category that actually registers at over 1% is buyers who bought directly from the seller or who knew the seller. This is typically interfamily sales, or maybe one of those situations where someone's had their eye on a house and they told the seller, if you're ever going to sell, let me know. But again, that's a very small part of the market. That's only 3%. And the other one that comes in at under 5% is buyers who bought the house from a builder or from a builder's agent, which is 4% of the people who buy a house. I think the first important category for our purposes is buyers who found the house through a friend, a relative, or a neighbor, which comes in at 6%. Which again doesn't sound like a lot, but still you're starting to get into an important section of the market. So some of the things we do to capture this part of the market are we send out just listed mailings to the neighborhood, and we send them out in these really nice silver envelope property brochures. Because a lot of people do, you live in a nice neighborhood and maybe you want your sister moving in or somebody from work is looking for a house. So we do make sure that we get it in front of the local residents so that they can bring the house to the attention to anyone that they know about. That's also where we're looking for a lot of our Facebook ad leads. Again, those are really probably even more effective than the print mailings at this point, where you're targeting people in that geographic area, letting them know the house is on the market, giving them all the property details. So again, they can then share that social media post with people they think might be looking in the neighborhood for a house. It also helps with the open houses. We see a lot of times a lot of attendees who come to the open house aren't necessarily looking themselves, but they're looking because their adult children are looking for houses, or they know someone who's looking, and they're just out there kind of scouting out houses for them. The next category that also comes in at 6% is buyers who actually found the house through a yard sign or from an open house sign. People do still just kind of drive neighborhoods, or they're out, maybe they're looking at other houses and they happen to come across a sign for a new listing that wasn't online yet when they were looking, or maybe they're just in the neighborhood and they see an open house sign. One of the things we do to really try to capture that part of the market is when people see our yard sign, there's a rider on there where they can just get the information on the property right away. They text a number which then recognizes what house they're standing in front of and they'll have the online property brochure actually sent right to their cell phone. And then we get a notification on it so that we can see right away that someone is actually at the house, looking at the sign, looking at the house, and has asked for information on it. So we can get to them right away. We can respond to them if they have any questions, if they want to see the house. So again, you're not kind of losing that lead. Whereas if it was someone, they're just seeing an open house sign and there's no information, and the open house isn't open yet, or just a yard sign with no information, they don't know the price of the house, they don't know any of the details, and they may just kind of, put the house aside and go on to whatever else they were doing. And then the next segment is people who actually found the house through their real estate agent, which comes in at 29%. Now that's not the percentage of buyers who are working with a real estate agent. Those are the ones that actually the first time they came across this house was a real estate agent sent them the information on that house. So again, there's some things that we need to do to make sure that the house is as visible and attractive to real estate agents as we can. One of those is having very clear and very full descriptions. A lot of times we'll see houses on there, they don't have room sizes listed, they don't really have much of a description. They may only have a picture of the front of the house. So again, there's not a lot of information for us to go by when deciding whether or not to recommend the house and send it on to a buyer. Another thing we do is we do an area realtor notification. When we get a listing, we send out an email blast which goes to all the agents at local brokerages so that they can see that this house has now come on the market, and if they have anyone who might be interested, they can contact us to arrange a showing. And we also, a lot of times, will do a broker open house. This is similar, people are very familiar with the Sunday open houses for the public. These, depending on the town, are typically midweek, midday, where we basically hold the house open for agents from other brokerages to come by and preview the property. We serve refreshments, but again, it lets us be there to answer any questions that people have and to give the agents a chance to actually see the property so that they can then go along and recommend it to their buyer prospects. And the final category probably won't come as a surprise, but 52% of home buyers found the home that they purchased online. And what that tells us is your online presence for your house's listing, is really crucial. And it all starts with the photographs. You really want to have professional photography done on the house. There are still plenty of agents out there who are just taking pictures on their cell phones with point and shoot cameras. That really doesn't cut it anymore. You need professional photography done on professional equipment in order to really make your house look its best online and to really get the best attention. You also want a lot of photographs. You also want video if it's available for the online sites. You want to have full descriptive info. Whatever fields are available, you want them filled out, you want information in them, you want clear narrative descriptions. And all of this, also, it isn't just so it looks nice, it's also because that really impacts a lot of times how your house shows up in the search results. A lot of sites like Zillow, Trulia, they prioritize and they rank the listings based on how many photos they have. If a house has 25 photos and another one has 2, the one with 25 photos is going to show up higher in the search results. If it's a house that has video versus another one that doesn't have video, it's probably going to show up higher in the search results. If it's something where all the fields have been filled out versus one where all the fields haven't been filled out, or if it's coming from the multiple listing service with full descriptions, with room sizes, with all the little data fields filled out versus one where half the things are coming through blank and empty, the one with all the info is going to be ranked higher. So you really need to make sure that all the options, everything that can be done for these online websites is being done. And one of the drawbacks, though, to all these sites like the Zillows and the Trulias is there's a lot of stuff going on. Your house comes up, it may look great, but then over there on the right, there's also the other houses the buyer might be interested in, or things for mortgages, or things for other advertising, agent advertising. So we also find it's really important to have a single property website which is just dedicated to your property, your listing. And that's what we use on all of our marketing. So if we're running a Facebook ad, we're not running it to the Zillow listing. We're running it to the single property website, which is only going to have your house on it and is only going to have our contact information on it. So if someone sees it, they're going to come to us, and then they've got to work for it to get out of this site and go somewhere else to look at other houses. So we find that the big websites, the Zillows, the Realtor.coms, they are very important. People do search for them a lot, but it's also good to have just that other piece in your online portfolio, which is the single property website. And another thing that's really important with the online is you really need to make sure that you have a responsive agent. People don't want to be waiting, they don't want to put a property inquiry in at 10 in the morning and wait for the part-time agent to respond to it that evening, when they're getting home from their other job and dealing with all their responses. They want someone who, when they put that inquiry in, is going to get back to them right away. If they're at our yard sign with a mobile brochure, they want to know that if they do this and put in an inquiry, somebody's going to get back in touch with them immediately. If they see the house online and they have a question about it, they want that answer right away. They don't want that answer 6-8 hours later. So again, you really need to make sure that you have a responsive agent who is going to have the ability to deal with all these inquiries as they come in. So I hope you found this information useful, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you're thinking about selling a house in Central Jersey, and you'd like to hear more about our marketing plan and what we can do to help you get the best price for your house, please visit us at www.joannandbob.com. Hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.